What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for a really quick conversation about Naomi Campbell. So, Naomi Campbell recently was in British Vogue magazine and she did a photo shoot. And for the very first time, she revealed the face of her beautiful baby girl who was born in May 2021. I don't think the article mentioned the name of the child, but the photo shoot did show her and her baby and her baby's face. So we got to see the baby, and obviously, there were questions about the parentage of the child and how the child came about. So Naomi Campbell only said that the child was not adopted and that, quote, this is my child. So to me, that raises more questions than answers. Now, obviously, Naomi Campbell and like anybody else on planet Earth, they have the right to talk about what they want to talk about. They have the right to reveal whatever part of their personal life they want to reveal and to not reveal whatever they do not want to reveal. It is her own private personal life. She doesn't have to explain a damn thing to a single person. We all get that. That is all understood. We are all on the same page with that. But that does not mean that we may not have questions. And I have questions. And I know these questions may never get answered, but I still have questions. And it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Naomi Campbell doesn't pay my bills, but I still want to know. For example, she said the child wasn't adopted. So did she use a surrogate? Did she use donor eggs? That's what I would like to know. None of my business, but I'm just curious. Also, the reason why people thought that the child was adopted was because a week before she announced to the world that she had a baby, she had walked the runway and she didn't look like she was visibly pregnant. Now, some people can hide their pregnancies extremely well. There's women who've carried twins and no one would ever even know that they were pregnant at all. So maybe that she's one of those people, who knows. But even if she used a surrogate, or even if she used donor eggs, or even if she was pregnant with her own biological child, or whatever the situation was, I don't understand why it has to be such a big secret. Like I said before, I get it. She doesn't have to tell us anything. But I always wonder about people, especially celebrities, who want to be so hush-hush about having children. I don't understand that, because you can have, and I'm not trying to compare children to diseases, but I'm just trying to make a point. You can have a disease that you don't want no one to know about for whatever reason. You just don't want people to know about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want people to ask you any questions. It's just between you and your doctor, and that's it. Fine. Nobody will ever have to know. You can even die of that disease and nobody will ever have to know that you have that disease. You can have that disease for all of your life and nobody will ever have to know that you have it. It's just between you and your doctor. But a baby is something that will come out and people are going to know about it, because you're going to be seen with this child and people would like to know, where did this child come from? So I don't understand why people have to be so secretive. Like, I remember when Beyonce was pregnant with Blue Ivy and she kept that a secret, and she was like, she didn't want to show her bump. She was always covering her bump. And, this was like in the very beginning of her pregnancy or something. Now, I understand that with a lot of people, they don't want to announce until they are, far along enough to where there's no issues of possibly miscarrying the baby. I get that part. But after you reach that 3-month mark or that 4-month mark, why not just announce it? Why are you running around hiding your baby bump? To the point where, and Beyonce was trying so hard to hide her pregnancy that people thought that she was faking her pregnancy. Remember those rumors that her bump really wasn't even real for whatever reason? I don't know why people thought that. So, and then when she got pregnant with the twins, then she let that bump all the way out and was taking maternity pictures where her stomach was completely bare. She wanted people to know and understand, yes, I am pregnant. This is a real a pregnant stomach. I am pregnant. There are children in my belly. Look at it. So I don't understand why some people are just so secretive about how they have the child, how the child was conceived. True enough, that is something that maybe nobody will ever know, and it's nobody's business. I get it. But when it comes to children, I always see it as a really joyful part of our lives, a joyful experience. Who cares how the child came along? And then someone will say, exactly, who cares? So why do they have to reveal how their child was conceived or how their child was born or whatever? True enough. But why does it have to be something? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, why does it have to be something we have to hide? That's what I want to know. That's my question. If you had your baby through whatever way that you had your baby, why do you feel like, I don't want the world to know that I used donor eggs, or I don't want the world to know that I used a surrogate, or I don't want the world to know that I adopted? Why not? What's so bad? What is it? What about that makes you feel like this has to be a secret? Nobody can ever know about this. If anyone found out, I would just die. Why? And low key, I think Kenya Moore from the Real House of Atlanta, I really think that she used donor eggs. I really do think she did. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think maybe they don't want to be criticized or questioned, like if they did use a surrogate or if they did use donor eggs. They don't want people to be like, why would you do that? Why didn't you just adopt? There's so many children that need a home. Why are you out there? Why are you doing that? Just go and adopt. Maybe that's what they're trying to avoid. And I can understand that. And I think it'd be great if someone came out and said, you know what, I really wanted to have a child, and I used donor eggs, and I didn't want to adopt because I wanted to have the experience of carrying a child, or this was a better fit for me to go through the process that I went through. No one should ever make you feel ashamed of how your child came into the world. So maybe that's what it is. They just don't want to be criticized because they did one thing and not the other. Because I know that people do face that criticism if they go through any kind of fertility treatments or IVF. People will be like, well, why are you using science to have a child? Why don't you just go and adopt? There's children out there that need to be adopted. Maybe they don't want to face that kind of backlash, which is really horrible that, people would judge you for how you chose to become a parent. But maybe that's why they don't. I just want to know. I'm not saying that she's wrong or right for not talking about it. I was just curious. And but I can understand why some people would want to keep it a secret, because they just don't want to face the backlash. They don't want to face the criticism. They don't want to face the judgment. I get that. I understand that. And it would be great if someone could ever come out and say, this is how I chose to become a parent. I didn't want to adopt. It just wasn't for me. I wanted to use donor eggs, or I wanted to use IVF or whatever, and this was just the best fit for me. And just, defend your decision strongly and confidently. That'd be wonderful too. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye-bye.